Hello to all our viewers and listeners. Friends, we've recently made 3 videos with life hacks on what simple actions an attacker can take to play more effectively against a defender and win more often. You can find the links to these videos under this video. I hope we haven't offended any defenders too much. Apologies, but we still have a few useful tips on how to attack you more successfully. Today, we'll consider a couple of simple ideas on what not to do against defenders. Yes, you heard that right. What not to do if you want to win more often. So, why do many attackers often lose to defenders even though they could win? What do they do that harms their own performance, and what should they change? Many attackers who struggle against defenders rely on a medium-speed topspin as their main attacking shot. Let's call this topspin the defender's dream. Why is it the defender's dream? Let's break down the key aspects of this topspin. As I said, it's medium speed. What does that mean? It means it's not fast, so the defender can easily move to the ball with their feet. Also, the ball doesn't travel so fast that the defender has no time to do whatever he wants with it. The defender can handle the ball well. He can add a lot or a little backspin, or even aim the ball to an uncomfortable place for the attacker. So there's enough time for the defender to handle the ball and create problems for the attacker. By hitting a medium-speed topspin against a defender, the attacker isn't creating problems for the defender, but for themselves. And if the attacker starts trying to spin these medium-speed topspins harder, he is just setting themselves up for trouble. By the way, while we're making these interesting and useful videos and reviews for you, feel free to visit our TT Maximum store more often for your purchases. It will be your best way of thanking us for these videos. So, when you play against a defender, don't make the medium-speed topspin as the main method of an attack. A topspin like this isn't inherently bad. Of course, you can make single medium-speed topspins because there are different situations. But don't rely on this shot as your main weapon against a defender. Don't do it often and repeatedly. It's pointless. The defender feels comfortable. With this kind of play, he can fully utilize their abilities. And you'll face significant difficulties. Next, a second piece of advice on what not to do: don't make those aforementioned topspins with maximum spin. Sometimes it's okay when you know why you're doing it, when you understand what comes after that and what you're going to do next. But don't often hit medium-speed topspins with heavy spin. Since they are medium speed, the defender will most likely have enough time to get to them. And he will be able to handle them well. And you'll get a heavy backspin ball. You'll have to work hard to make the next topspin. Though it might be smarter to just drop the ball. But you can't score goals with drop shots. And if you heavily spin your medium-speed topspins, you're just making the defender happy and complicating the situation for yourself. If you absolutely love adding a lot of spin to your topspins and can't resist this habit while playing against a defender, try at least to use this skill wisely. Hit a short, slow topspin with heavy spin so that it flies shorter and drops quickly under the table, forcing the defender to return it from a very low position. In this case, it's very likely that the defender will return the ball higher, not to the edges of the table, but closer to the middle. Then you can finish the rally with a flat hit. That's a 2-step play. It works. Just make topspin not to the defender's racket, but under the table. Another option for a heavy spin topspin that will be effective against a defender is the topspin shot. That's a powerful topspin with heavy spin. It travels fast and with a flat trajectory, similar to a flat shot, but the flat shot is done like an insect bat, whereas the topspin shot is a true topspin that is swinging from bottom to top and forward as quickly as possible. It's very difficult to defend against such an attack. Now, for the final idea, an excellent one, on what attackers should not do against defenders. Guys, when you practice against defenders, don't do a series of topspins against a series of defenders' chops. But that's exactly what most players do. But why? By the way, while I'm sharing all this helpful information, please hit the like button and subscribe. Likes don't click themselves. When you play against defenders, do you want to make a series of topspins that the defender will just keep chopping back? Of course not, unless you're a fool. So why do many attackers train this way in practice? When you train against a defender, practice what you want to apply against defenders in a match. Do you want to make 100 topspins and get 100 returns? Or do you want to hit one topspin and then finish off the poor guy? If you want to train for a 100-meter sprint, don't run long distances. If you want to beat the defender with a two-shot combination, then practice that combination. If you want to use flat shots and topspin shots against a defender, train combinations that give you the convenient ball and then execute the flat shot or topspin shot. If you're training a series of topspins against chops, that you will be good at during the match. What you don't train, you won't be able to use it at a good level. Your hand will tremble, and fear will get in the way. So, practice exactly what you want to use against defenders in competition. That is all. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to ask them in the comments below the video.